What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the pod. It's your boy Chad here.
What's up? It's Joe.
And let's just get into some nerd stuff. We might have some nerd stuff, might be some non-nerd stuff, but you know how our pod flows. We just talk. So, Super Bowl happened. We're recording this, I think, on the 18th. So, Super Bowl happened last Sunday. It was the Chiefs and the 49ers. I'm not sure, Joe, if you watched the game. I did watch the game, obviously, because I'm a huge football head. My wife's huge Chiefs fan, so I rooted for the Chiefs, obviously. I did not want to see the 49ers win. I don't care for that franchise. And I hate Kyle Shanahan. But I do like the team. I do like the players on that team. I think they're cool. But I was rooting for the Chiefs. And to me, it was one of the best Super Bowls I've watched in a long time. You know, it had all the emotions. It had the back and forth. It had the comeback. It had overtime. Like, it was a good, just classic football game. Like, I know you don't like football as much as I do, but what did you think about at least the game?
I had kind of the reverse thought on that. I was actually at my parents' house watching it, and I thought it was boring. But I thought I thought it was all defense. So I'm like, okay, I get it. They're both just stopping. And I actually left during the third quarter and went home, and I picked it back up when I was there, and I was like, oh, the Chiefs scored, because I thought it was done. Yeah. And I know Chiefs are all about wait till the ass end to just win, and I hate that about the Chiefs. It's just too stressful. It's probably why I don't watch them as much. But yeah, I was really bored. And I'm like, okay, the 49ers are probably, as predicted, gonna win. So I went home, saw that they were up when I got home. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna watch this. And then I got a little more exciting, a little more anxious. At that point, it was good. But yeah, it was nice to see it go overtime. Definitely a nail biter. And it's always interesting because those dudes are worn out.
Yeah.
And it's it gets really interesting at that point because you're just worked. You're just worn out, and I think that made it pretty unpredictable, which was exciting. So I did enjoy obviously the win at that 3-second mark. But yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah, that was kind of the sentiment that I've seen with other people saying. They were like, first half, it was kind of like it wasn't a snooze fest, but it was more like a defensive onslaught instead of an offensive onslaught that we were expecting. The ball was moving, but it was like San Francisco couldn't punch it in for a touchdown, and the same with the Chiefs. It was 10-0 at halftime, I think, or 10-3 at halftime. So, it just goes to show you that, defense, it is important in a big game like that. And like you said, the Chiefs are known, fourth quarter, they're just all right, we're done playing around. Let's just go beat these people. And a lot of the conversations around the Super Bowl was the overtime. I don't know if you remember, but back in, I think it was 2021, the Chiefs and Bills had one of the most epic playoff games I've ever seen in my life. In a minute and 40-something seconds, the score changed 4 times. It was incredible. Obviously, that game went into overtime. Whoever won the toss got the ball first, and whoever scored wins. And that game changed the overtime rules to where now both teams have a chance to score regardless of who scores first. So whenever, in the Super Bowl, whenever the coin toss happened in the overtime and 49ers elected to take the ball, a lot of people were surprised. And I listened to a lot of sports pundits, a lot of sports talk, and people were saying when you have a team like the Chiefs, when you have a player like Mahomes, you don't want to give him the all or nothing mentality. Basically, with the 49ers winning the toss, the Chiefs knew what they would have to do to win the game. So, if the 49ers go down and score a touchdown, the Chiefs know they have to score a touchdown and either take it to another overtime or get a 2-point conversion. Obviously, in this case, the 49ers drove down but had to kick a field goal. The Chiefs knew, all we got to do is just score a touchdown, and we have 4 downs. It's the end of the game. We're not going to sit here and kick and punt the ball. We're going to go down because, say you flip that and the 49ers would have asked to receive the ball second and would have deferred to the Chiefs. What if the Chiefs wouldn't have made it to field goal range? They would have had to punt. And then at that point, the 49ers would have just had to kick a field goal to win the game. So there was a lot of speculation around the coaching decision to take the ball. And then there were a lot of 49er players that came out and said they didn't know the overtime rules. And that shocked the crap out of me, because it's like, you're a professional football player. Like, this is your job. And anytime there's a major rule change, like, the coach knew about it. So why did he not pass it? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to put the onus on the players, but it's just like that's a disorganization amongst the whole team if you guys didn't know the rules. Like, when the Chiefs came out and they said, like, yo, we practice every scenario in overtime that you could imagine, so we knew we were ready for anything. So, you know, I just thought that looked bad on the 49ers. I felt bad about that. But, no, man, it was a good Super Bowl. So to pivot off of that, what did you think about the commercials and the halftime show of the Super Bowl?
Commercials I felt were kind of boring, as they were last year. Maybe a little bit better. I think I only liked one from last year. I still bugged, and this is that there was how many? It was $7 million per 30 minutes.
It's like 5 to 7, yeah, something like that.
There was 2 commercials for Jesus, and I'm okay if you want to advertise that, but I just feel like that's money. If you take any kind of religious concept of Jesus, it's like you could have used that money to do the things you're saying in the commercial, like help your communities. Millions, $14 million, $7 million. I mean, that's a lot of money that you'll give back to your community instead of a commercial. So that one always tripped me out, and they did that last year too. Halftime show, Usher. It's what I expect from Usher. He's a good dancer. I don't think it had a lot of drive. It wasn't necessarily bad. I did like seeing Luda come out. I got excited at that point. It's like, oh, cool. You know, he's not in a Fast and the Furious movie. He's rapping again. But it was okay. I didn't like. I feel like they've been lackluster, in my opinion. But then again, you're not there. It's different when you're like, you watch a concert or something on TV versus being at a show. So it's kind of hard to judge, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I'm kind of with you with the commercials. I was like, like, I watch them because they're there, but like, unfortunately, there's not even one that stands out to me right now that could be like, oh, that was my favorite. I'm just like, oh, you're spending a shit ton of money on commercials. Yeah. It's kind of what you do for the Super Bowl. As far as the halftime show, I was excited because I'm a huge Usher fan. The only thing that I will criticize is I felt like it was a little busy at moments. So like there was so much going on that you just didn't know what to focus on. But I understand that like Usher is a performer. Like if you've ever seen any of his shows, his concerts and whatnot, like the dude always has a lot going on. So I understand it. Like he wanted to bring to the masses, you know, hey, this is what it's like to come to one of my concerts. I love the music that he played. I understood why he did it, but I hated that like he would start like the part of a song and then like straight go to the next part of a song, and I'm like, dude, I was singing the first song and you flipped it on me so quick. But I mean, Usher has so many hits that you're not gonna be able to hit them all. And I loved who he brought out. I loved that he brought out her, Alicia Keys, Lil Jon, Luda, even Jermaine Dupri. Like I thought that was cool as crap. I rank it in my top 5, but it is not my favorite Super Bowl show of all time. Prince, number 1. Michael Jackson, number 2. But I definitely love that, you know, I love to see hip hop and R&B being represented at the Super Bowl. Like obviously Jay-Z has the deal with the NFL right now, so we're going to see a lot of that. And I have nothing against the other genres of music. I just, you know, rap and R&B don't really get a lot of mainstream because it's not, like, even though it's part of pop culture, it's not considered popular, even though it is, you know. So it's nice to just see that representation at a stage that big. So, you know. But, you know, we'll see what happens next year. They're going to be in New Orleans, and speculation is that we might get a Lil Wayne Super Bowl halftime show. So we'll see. And I think if you get a Lil Wayne, that means you're going to get Drake, you're going to get Cash Money, you're going to get Nicki Minaj, DJ Khaled. You're going to get a lot of people. So, you know, it could be super exciting. But we'll see. Right now, that's all speculation. But, you know.
Speaking of the halftime show, like, you know, months ago when we talked about Taylor Swift and, you know, some conspiracies. So I did read that she has consistently turned down the Super Bowl. So I know you and I were like, oh man, maybe she's just trying to get with Kelsey, but she's actually turned it down several times.
But she's been offered it before, and she's like, no.
She's just like, it's not about, and to her, it's not about money. It's just like she doesn't need that stage.
Fair enough.
You know, she doesn't. She's obviously successful on her own. But yeah, just so to kind of bring some facts into some stuff that we were talking about, you know, quite a while ago. Just thought that was an interesting thing to bring up.
Oh, cool, fine.
Yeah, it was random. So, I have a question I want to bring up. What do you feel about this Black national anthem? Like, what is your view on them starting to do that before the actual national anthem?
Man, that's a loaded question.
It's heavy. Yeah.
I have no problem with them playing it, but I feel like you're trying to placate my people. Like, you're just like, hey, we're going to play this before the national anthem, like, to appease you guys. And it's like, that's cool and all, but we want other things. Like, at least in my opinion, like, we'd rather have actual systematic change than you guys playing our national anthem before a sporting event. Because I'm one of the few people that, and I might get flack for this, but I feel it's kind of weird that we always play our national anthem before we have a sporting event. Like I would expect to hear our national anthem if we were like at the Olympics or at the World Cup or something like that. Because yeah, we're representing our country, but when we're at home, you know, they always play but you know, it's kind of a tradition. So I just, yeah, all right, whatever. But as far as the Black national anthem goes, like, yeah, I love hearing it because it's about my people, but I would like for you all to do more than just play an anthem for us. Like, we need to get systematic change done. Like, there need to be real changes for Black people in America, and playing a song is I don't know. I would never call it a slap in the face, but I definitely feel like it's you know, you're kind of giving us pittance instead of actually doing what needs to be done. So. And then, of course, it brings out all the fucking zealots and bigots, and yeah, that was fun. That's great reading those comments.
And that's kind of where I wanted to go with it, is that, you know, it's something I feel, it's a hard line, at least in my opinion, where, like, I feel like when you push stuff like that, yeah, I mean, it's piggybacking on what you said. It's like, I mean, what you're trying to, appease, like, oh, we have to do this, so here's this. But at the same time, because, yeah, you look at the comments and you're like, does this actually do more good? Does this do anything, or does it cause... I feel like things like that cause more segregation. I feel like that, it causes more division. Because, forums I saw, it's like, we have one national anthem, one nation. I'm like, I get that, but it's more, it's hard to divide which one of those are supremacists versus people that are just like, it feels unnecessary. It's really hard to divide that. But I do feel like, is it serving any purpose other than more division? With that in mind, do you think they should continue to do that? You know, I want to see everybody just equal all across the board. However we do that. And when I see stuff like that, I think, and see those forums, I'm like, is this doing good, or is it just causing more problems, more segregation? I don't know. It's hard. We live in a weird environment the last couple of years where a lot of people have come out of the woodwork. So, which is surprising to see that we have that many, I hate to use the word racist people. That's why I kind of wanted to bring it up on your thoughts of, should we continue that or be more unified? Or change the national anthem and just have one new one and not about blowing shit up or whatever. But yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get a new anthem anytime soon. I mean, they're gonna keep playing it because they think it's doing more good than bad. But also, I don't think they peruse the internet and see the vitriol and hatred that's out there for Black America. Again, I'm always gonna fight for any bit of anything Black that there is, just because I'm always gonna be pro-Black. That's not to say that I'm against anybody else, but it's just like, I'm always gonna fight for my people, because who's gonna fight for us? besides ourselves. You know, we have allies out there, but, you know, allies can only do so much. So I'm never going to say, yeah, no, don't play it. But I'm still always going to shout, do more. I need more than a fucking anthem.
That's fair.
I need more, you know. And to the bigots out there and shit, like, you're going to hate. I can't do anything about that. Just know that I don't fucking care about your hate. Like, because I know that's what you want. You want my energy, and I'll never give you my energy. Like, you're getting my energy right now just because I'm just talking on it. But, you know, I've had white people come up, drop the N-word in my face. And I'm just like, hey, man, that's how you feel. I'm not giving you my energy. And I keep it moving. And to me, they hate that more because you don't react. Yeah. And eventually, I honestly, truly in my heart feel that we will get to a world where the bigots are few and far in between. It's just going to take, you know, generations to bleed out that hate. You're not born with hate. A child isn't born to hate somebody else. Yeah. You're taught. And slowly, as these backward ass people who think like that start dying off, you know, hope to see their legacy start dying off, and we don't have that hatred anymore. And we're in a world where we thrive on just each other, and it doesn't matter what fucking color or what you identify as. You're just human at the end of the day. Yeah. That got heavy.
No, like I said, it was on my mind because unfortunately we live in that world, and I don't think we're going to see that in our lifetimes, but hopefully our children might see a better world. But yeah, sucks, but cool.
No, great combo, man. Great topic to bring up. Since we're talking about some heavy stuff, I do think we need to talk about the tragedy that happened Wednesday in Kansas City. Unfortunately, 22 wounded. One person did perish, unfortunately. Just senseless violence, man. You know, it just, you hate to hear it. As something that was a celebration, like, you know, just, man, I don't even have words. And you hear that 2 juveniles were arrested now, and you find out that it was just 2 people with a dispute. Like, and this was your first thought, to shoot up a public place with children, with people, innocent people. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and I hate how desensitized we are to it now. Like, yeah, it's shocking, but I mean, unfortunately, look how quickly the shock wears off. Mm-hmm. This is America, where we have mass shootings, and that shouldn't be a norm. And it is. Yeah. And just, my heart goes out to everybody that are affected by that. You know, I know we always tell you, you know, sending you thoughts and prayers, but I mean, you know, something's got to give. Something's got to change. Like, these events, like, you got to bring more security. You got to do something to make these people feel safe. Like, this is a parade for the public. This is the Chiefs showing their love to their fans. And 22 people got injured and 1 person died. Like, come on. That should not have ever happened.
Yeah, it's been on my mind pretty heavy because even before this, it's like, I spoke with my wife about, like, this shit keeps happening. And it's like, school shootings, it just keeps happening. And it's like scary to think that where can I go with my kids, and any of this shit could happen. And then, like, this happened here. Yeah, at an event with tons of children. They closed all the schools down here. There was like 1 friggin' school in the district that was open, and that's like Kansas and Missouri. So, like, people expected families to go out there. So you damn well know it is a family event. And it's like, that's kind of like piggybacks on the things I've been talking about, where it's like, do we feel safe going anywhere to enjoy anything, a concert, a parade? I think it's getting worse. And it's crazy because you say, yeah, we're desensitized, but it's happening more and more. It's insane. Like, how are we? Yeah, because, like, people are like, I know people I worked with, you know, they went. A bunch of people out of Austin, it's like, oh, you know, and this happened. Is everybody okay? Yeah. And the next thing you know, they're back in their humor chat. Like it just didn't happen. It's like, oh yeah, it's this new thing. It's a new day. And it's like, and not that just saying that, it's just, yeah, we put on that facade, that face, that, okay, you know, till the next one.
And there will be a next one, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think it is kind of cool. Like, Casey's like, you know what, we're going to go on with our St. Patrick's parade. We're not going to let you stop it. and that's cool, but the problems still exist. You're going to have less people because of that. So there's desensitizing, but actually, I did read, I don't know where it is, it might be New Orleans, speaking of New Orleans. It's some police force for a parade, and they have all their cops basically like, even if you have concealed carry, it's an absolute no guns.
Yeah.
And they go and they confiscate, they just pat you down. They can just say, hey, they get you, and they I have to find the article and like post it in this thing, but it's like they confiscated like 200, 300 guns. Just like, it was crazy because it was just that's what they did. They went to this event and it doesn't matter. You don't bring that shit. I was like, that's awesome. That needs to happen everywhere. And again, if you're just going there, it's kind of like a cop, just comply. Like, sure, whatever. I don't have this. Good, you're good to go. Don't bring it. But that was cool to see. And I think if that happens more, we'd have less. But again, it sucks that it even has to be there in the first place. Yeah. But yeah, definitely sad that it was children, and majority children. Because, yeah, that messes me up when it comes to, it sucks for all, but yeah. Because I was like, the lady who did pass, her kid was shot too, or injured. So it's like, and she had 2 kids, so she passed. And then like, I don't know, I haven't looked up the status of the kid that was hurt. But Taylor Swift did give $100,000 to the
victim's family.
Yeah. And then I guess Carolina Panthers, since we're on football, donated some money.
I hadn't heard that they had donated, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so like, it's cool to see community come back, and yeah, it's just, yeah.
It just sucks that this is the reason why the community comes together.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, do better, people. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why me and my wife we really second guess going to public gatherings, because we're just like, what are we gonna do if something pops off, babe? Like, it's just scary to think about. Like, I think when you have these public gatherings, like, I understand it's more resources and more money, but like, have metal detectors, have enough police on staff that they can, like you said, pat people down, do something to try to stymie this, like make it where there are no firearms allowed, because, especially in a state like ours where you don't even have to have a permit now to conceal and carry. Just as long as you can legally buy a gun, you can conceal that thing. Like, you don't have to have the permit, and you just don't know who has a gun now, so it's, it is what it is, but, let's just, unfortunately another one's going to happen, but, you hope that, hey, when are we going to get to the breaking point? When is this going to stop? You just hope it stops soon. So yeah, sorry for that dark road we took you down, listeners, but, sometimes you got to talk about the heavy stuff. And to me, a more funny antidote, this weekend is All-Star weekend for the NBA. And they had SneakerCon this weekend. SneakerCon is for people like me who are sneakerheads. If you don't know, listeners, I collect Jordans. And so SneakerCon is kind of like our mecca. It's where we go to see all the latest drops. It's where you go to sometimes score really good deals on shoes. Like, it's just a celebration of sneakers and the culture. And and apparently, was he 45th or 46th? Anyway, former President Donald Trump showed up to SneakerCon pushing his own sneakers. They are, in my opinion, hideous. They're gold, and I just, they scream America. Like, don't get me wrong, and I'm not against America, but I am against these shoes because they're, and then like just some of the names people are calling them is, like, one person called them the air insurrections. Another person called them the January 6s. Like, just the names are phenomenal. But he's pushing these things for $339. People are buying them and then are turning around and actually selling them on eBay for $2,400 to $2,700. And they're selling. Like, it is... We are such an unserious country, man. Like... but I just had to share that. Like, like, Donald Trump has sneakers now. Like,
man. He's got to pay for all those lawsuits, so,
This shit is wild.
I want to know how long it took him to kind of pull those out of his ass. Like, did someone just like make him overnight? Like, did he have them just sitting there like ready? Does he have like warehouses of ideas? Just like, fuck, I'm running out of money. Go grab those fucking shoes from Warehouse 14. You know, yeah, mind boggling. That dude is a character for sure. But
yeah. So if you get a chance, go check them out, listeners. Tell us what you think about them. I am not a fan, but hey, that's just my personal opinion. People are buying them, so obviously somebody's a fan. So, but I just thought I had to share that with you guys because it was too funny not to share that this dude's got some sneakers out now. Kind of sticking with our sports center though, I kind of want to talk about F1 real quick, just touch on it. As you know, we've been seeing the rollout of all the new F1 cars. Obviously, me being a Lewis Hamilton fan and a Mercedes fan, I followed their rollout. I have to personally admit that I like last year's car better, at least livery style, but that's just me. That's my own personal opinion. Kind of the same with Ferrari. I liked Ferrari's style last year over this year. But those are kind of like, I only kind of follow the big names: Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, maybe Aston Martin, you know, and McLaren. But yeah, kind of what are your thoughts on the rollout so far this year with the new cars? I think they're what, the WB24s?
I think it's going to be really friggin' hard to tell them apart on the grid because everybody went dark mode. We're going to have
they did.
all these black cars, except for that Visa 24 character long name, and then Steak, I guess, Sauber, is bright ass green, which I think is cool.
Right.
So you're going to see those, which I just heard that Steak, they might not be able to use that name.
Yeah, I heard that.
I didn't have a chance to go in there, but that's pretty funny. But the liveries were all pretty much the same. I knew Mercedes kept hinting at bringing the silver back. I am interested. I was trying to follow up on the mechanics. Weirdly, it looks like Red Bull copied some of the zero pod design for their RB20, whatever the hell they're called. I don't remember the name, the model numbers, but yeah, and like Mercedes looks like they kind of did some interesting stuff and have a almost illegal front wing. So I think Mercedes is very inventive. They always do this stuff. You remember that steering wheel thing, like the push and pull? That was like, if I was like, no. I'm like, damn, that would have been cool. But like Horner's like, what is that?
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And I always find that interesting where they come out with these cars and then the FIA comes in like, you can't do that. Then they have to like, it's really interesting how many people push. Yeah. So I feel like, and that's when you're going to get all the tattletaling and, oh, that's illegal. That's this. But yeah, so I feel like Mercedes stepped up. And a lot of the teams went to like a pull rod or a push rod, so they changed like their suspension for like the porpoising and stuff. So I'm actually more excited the more I read for 24. It's either going to be a shit fest or we're going to see some real competitors. And then the Red Bull, Adrian Newey stepped up to design and did some new work on the car. It's just like, so he already had a powerful ass car and he's done it apparently more to that. So yeah, I'm really excited to see them actually get on the track and race, and we're not too far away. So
yeah, I think season opener is March 8th or something like that.
Yeah, real close.
Yeah.
Christian Horner, we don't spend a lot of time.
This guy.
I'm not a fan, so it'd be really cool to see him leave his team. But yeah, it's been a real kind of mystery, and I know there's just a lot of fake news out there, so I don't want to get into it too much. But
let's just touch on a little bit of what we know is truth. There is an investigation going on that Red Bull is doing internally against Christian Horner for, I can't remember if it's sexual misconduct or just misconduct within the workplace.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get that misconstrued. But there is an internal investigation going on that Red Bull took on their behest. Like, it looks like FIA is not part of this investigation. Last I heard, FIA is asking Red Bull, hey, hurry up and finish this because our season's right around the corner and this cannot be looming over our head. And apparently his spot is on the chopping block. Like, it is, if it comes out that the allegations are true, whatever he did, he could lose his seat at Red Bull. And I think that would be a massive blow to Red Bull, in my opinion. Like you said earlier, he's been running Red Bull since he's been there, and I mean, these last 3 years they have been the most dominant team that I've seen in a long time in F1. You know, outside of Mercedes or Ferrari, or we'll even throw like McLaren and Aston in there from time to time. But Mercedes and Red Bull have kind of been the two dominant teams over this past like decade. Losing Christian, I think, would throw Red Bull into a downfall. I think so. I'm not saying that it doesn't take away from the talent and amazingness that is Verstappen, because he is a hell of a fucking driver, obviously. But I just think Christian has great race strategy, and he has great, like, he really pushes Red Bull's cars to get the most out of them. Like, I mean, their cars have been just crazy dominant, and I think you lose that, I think you kind of fall back some. Like, I think they'll be dominant still, but I don't think they'll be leaps and bounds, and it just leaves an ugly stain on Red Bull. Like, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So,
I did see something interesting. It was either sometime this weekend. Ford, because they're supposed to take over their drivetrains in 26.
Yeah,
came out and said, if basically Horner is found guilty of any kind of misconduct that's a stain on the Red Bull brand, Ford will probably pull out and will not do a partnership. So there's a lot riding, because Ford's like, we're a family company, we don't put up with that shit, basically. And if it comes out that he was harassing a female, especially, I mean, well, I know they're all assholes there, but if that becomes a thing, Ford will probably be like, not associate with the Red Bull team in 26. So that would, like, what do they do at this point? Honda's out.
Yeah, you gotta find another supplier.
Yeah, they'll have a Mercedes engine. That'd be hilarious.
Right.
I mean, they're already copying some stuff off their car, which I think is hilarious too. But yeah, so that's an interesting fact. So it's gonna be exciting couple of years. I think I'm kind of more excited now for the 24 and 25 years. So we'll see.
I'm really excited for 25 to see Lewis in red. That's gonna be, man, it's gonna be weird, but I think it's gonna be epic.
I think the car is going to be competitive enough that he could. That's what I want to say. I would love for him to, like we talked about this, love to see him leave with his 8th, should be his 10th title with Mercedes. That way he can enjoy his time at Ferrari and like not have that pressure of shit. I left a team that made a good ass car. If I just stayed one more year, where he's fighting George or something. So yeah, it's going to be a good couple of years, hopefully. Definitely.
And we'll keep you all posted on the Christian debacle. Maybe the next time we pod, there might be a decision made, and we can chat about it real quick.
Sure.
So to shift gears, I want to talk about Valentine's Day real quick. So, this past week was Valentine's Day. A lot of men think it's a manufactured holiday made by the jewelry companies, and I won't argue that. But obviously, we're both married. We've been with our partners for a very long time. And at least with my wife, Valentine's Day is nice, but it's not an expected celebration from her anymore. Like, maybe we were dating, but, we're married. We have kids. We have an established life. Like, for her, it's just like, hey, she told me exactly what she wanted. She's like, I want some Lindor chocolates. That's all you got to get me. And I got her Lindor chocolates, but I did get her it's called a preserved rose, and it's a rose that they somehow dry out but preserve it in its natural state. And it's like, it was inexpensive, didn't break the bank, and it's in a little glass jar. She has it on her desk, and it looks really cute. And it was just like, hey, here's something that, and it will die eventually, but it's supposed to last for like 3 to 5 years versus like, a week. Yeah. Or like having to do all that crazy stuff to try to preserve it on your own. So I was like, God, this is cool. And she really liked it. And for me, she got me beef jerky. Like, she went to like an artisan jerky place, and it was like a variety thing. It was like just a bag of all these different jerkies, and she knows I love that. So, for us, it's not important. We don't need to go out and break the bank. We don't need to go out to eat. Like, we don't need to spend an ass load of money. Like, it's just like, hey, I appreciate you every day, but just today I'm gonna appreciate you just a little bit more, and that's it. Like, what are your thoughts on Valentine's Day? Like, do you and your wife celebrate it? Are you guys kind of like us, or?
I'm going to try to fit a lot into a small amount of time here. All right. So I grew up in Ohio, and we had an additional day. I don't think there's one in the Midwest called Sweetest Day. And it was invented by the American greeting cards company to basically make more money, because Valentine's is one day. Let's get 2 days a year. So It was another way to like get people to buy more shit around that. So yeah, is it manufactured? In my opinion, absolutely. I don't know if you remember, we've been friends a long ass time, but way back in the day, I tried to have like an anti-Valentine's Day party.
Yeah, I remember
It was just like, I've never been a fan. And I think that's because growing up in Ohio, I realized that these are just, I have a thing with holidays in general. I've come to accept them more. So yeah, I've always just been like, I hate this holiday. Because like, if you're with somebody and you love them and stuff, like, you can do this shit throughout the year. Why wait for that day? You know what I mean? And so I agree that it's more of a dating holiday. That, you know, it's cute. You know what I mean? I was in shop class in high school, and my shop teacher, his advice to us and the males, I guess, was, so if you're in a relationship, break up with your girl on the day Valentine's Day or the day before, and then make it up to her the day after, because everything is half off. I'm like, I just thought that was hilarious that a teacher was giving us. Like, what kind of advice is that? Just, you know, break up with her, and then you'd save some money, and then buy everything half off the day after. Weird but funny advice nowadays. But my wife is a holiday girl. She thinks it's all cutesy. So she likes to decorate, and now we have like friggin' like Legos for every holiday that we build and put out on the mantle and stuff. So she likes to decorate, and I think with the kids, she likes to do baskets, and she likes to do crafty stuff. So I tend to celebrate it. We don't go crazy, you know what I mean? So I got like flowers and like a little Lego set, and then funny enough, she went and got baskets for the kids and me like a Lego set. So it was like a Lego candy, you know, so balloon, I don't know. So I tend to celebrate, but it's not big. I don't go out and buy, you know, because it's like, I can make any day Valentine's Day. So it's just something that little stuff that's just fun. And she likes to do little things. And it doesn't ever have to be extravagant. So I've come to accept that I will be celebrating in some form. Right. But I do, on the flip of that, another reason I don't like holidays, and I probably brought this up before, is just like the pressure of that. You know what I mean? When you come to dating, like, oh, I have to get her fucking diamond earrings or something stupid. You know, that should be something on your own time. And I feel like a lot of people expect too much, or feel like that would be expected of them. And I don't like that pressure. Right. That's why I don't like certain holidays. And I think we talked about that about Christmas, you know, like gifting and what's expected. And so like that applies to that too for Valentine's Day. But so for us, yeah, it's just cutesy stuff, nothing crazy.
And I'm with that. Like, I think my wife knows that our anniversary, I'm going to celebrate the shit out of, because, you know, that's when we truly committed ourselves to each other, by saying our vows. And then her birthday, because that's the day that she was brought into this world, and I will always celebrate those two. Those two, I will go above and beyond. I'll break the bank, because she's worth it. But like Valentine's Day, like, or when people are like, let's celebrate our 6th month, like, no, you got years, okay? You celebrate years. Like, you don't celebrate 6 months it's our 4th-month anniversary. Shut the fuck up. Like, and maybe that's me being bitter, but I just, like, that's dumb. Who celebrates, you know, a 1-month anniversary? Like, I just hate stuff like that. So, you know, you celebrate the milestones. Like, marriage is a milestone. Your significant other's born day, that's a milestone. Like, you celebrate those. Like, you know, but to each their own. You want to celebrate Valentine's Day? I'm not going to knock you. I just think you're wasting your money. Like, you should want to celebrate your significant other every day instead of just one day.
I agree with
because if you're going all out for that one day, me personally, that makes me think like, so what, the other days I don't mean shit to you, just this one day. But again, that's my sassy side coming out. So, you know, whatever. So lastly, today Joe brought up a really, really cool topic that I think we should end on today, and it is Rarest Video Game. And I thought that was super cool. And I'll let Joe kick this off because it was his idea. I didn't want to steal his thunder. I just wanted to let everybody know where we were shifting.
No, that's good. I almost forgot. I haven't valued... So I have a lot of old systems and games, and I've sold some too that I regret in desperate times. Because it was changed, I actually have Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Nice.
And I don't know if that's rare, but I know they switched it with the rape allegations. They switched it to Punch-Out! So the fact that it was changed, I feel like we can do this segment a couple times with the games we have. But the one I can think of right now is that one, because it's like, oh, I have the actual Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! You know, it's him at the end. You know, so it's kind of cool that I still actually have that. So I'd say for this time that'd be one of my rare ones.
Nice. Oh, that's cool, man. Like you, went through hard times, got rid of a bunch of stuff that I regret to this day that I'm like, I should have held on to that. I'll start off with my biggest regret that I don't have anymore. Okay. I had it was open, but it was in pristine condition, Black Label Final Fantasy VII. And to this day, I see open ones going for like that. And I'm like, I should have kept it. And I traded it in for another game when trading in was big. And I should have, Black Label. I don't even see Black Labels anymore. You suck.
It's like a crack in the case, but yeah, I still have that in the guidebook.
There's a friend of mine from back home. He has I don't know if he still has it. He might not have. He had a sealed Black Label, unopened. So right now, my rarest game that I have in my collection, it's not as old. It's on one of the more recent consoles. It's on the 360, but it's Need for Speed Most Wanted. Okay. The original Most Wanted, not the remake. And that's probably my rarest game in that it still goes for a lot of money because it's one of the last... It was the last really good Need for Speed game that fans loved.
Classic.
And I still play it from time to time just because it's fun to the graphics haven't aged well at all. But that's probably the rarest game I have right now. Most of my games are more of the mainstream. But I'm like you. I really, I'm trying to get back into retro gaming. I'm trying to get a lot of the old systems. It's just, you're going to pay a premium. So, I scour garage sales, yard sales, anything. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, you got a 64 to sell? I will gladly take that off your hands. So, real quick before we end, what is the one retro system that you don't have right now that you hope you can acquire?
I don't think it's hard to get, but for my collection... and something I would actually play, I am missing a Super Nintendo. And I've never owned one. I have the regular Nintendo and the 64, and that's my gap. I don't have a Super. And with Nintendo Online, it makes it kind of hard to go and get one, because you get some of those games you could just play, like I did with Zelda, because that's one I never played, and I finally got to play it when I got the Switch. So, but just for my collection right now, that's one I'd like to kind of fit in a slot. To have that line of games or systems. Yeah.
Dope.
What about you?
Sega Dreamcast, man.
Okay.
I remember when I got my Dreamcast, I was super amped. I thought the memory card was really cool, how you could play games on it. The controller was cool and the games were badass. And I miss that system to this day. And I don't want to pay an arm and a leg, but I would damn near give it an arm and a leg to have that system again. It was one of my favorites, and I miss it. Because I've had every system starting from the Atari forward. I've owned every video game system, and it's just I look back and it's why didn't I hold on to these? Why did I let them go? it's one of those things. Like I have the Star Wars 360 that is the actual R2D2, and it's the real R2D2 where it makes the noises and everything. And I have the true C3PO controller where if you tilt it towards you, you can see his circuit boards, and that's how you knew it was the real one. So it's like, yeah, I'm holding on to that, but I just wish I would have held on to like all my vintage systems because I had all of them.
Yeah.
And it's like I should have held each one, and I didn't. So, but man, I love memory lane. It's like my favorite time, dude. So, listeners, thank you for tuning in. So, as you know, it's Black History Month, so I just want to leave you all with a Black History nugget. I will tell mine, and then Joe will share his. Mine is in lieu of the Super Bowl and in honor of the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is the first black quarterback to win back-to-back Super Bowl titles. And I just thought that's pretty badass. We've only had 5 black Super Bowl winners total, or actually not winners, but I think it's playing the Super Bowl. We only had 5 black QBs playing the Super Bowl. And, fact check me if I'm wrong. Fine with that. But I think it's 5. But we've only had 1 black quarterback that wins back-to-back Super Bowls. So I just thought that was a really cool, especially during Black History Month too. It's badass.
To piggyback on that, yeah, I think it's interesting that growing up, football was white quarterbacks, black defense. Like felt like it was very one-sided. I feel like, yeah, we've branched out all over across the board with, white running backs and, just everybody's, it's not like the staple of what I was raised on, you know what I mean? So it's cool to see different cultures or different ethnicities playing different roles, and it's more of just a team sport now of many. I'm wording that terribly, but yeah, I just think it's really cool. Something I've noticed as well outside of just quarterbacks, which is cool to see. My fact is not so much a fact. It's just more like I kind of want to bring up something I came across, and I get inspired by stories. I'm a very story-driven person. That's why I'm a Sony fan. This week, I'd like to bring up it's a movie called Men of Honor, and I don't think a lot of people have seen it. And it's based off of like a true story of a guy named Carl Bashir, I believe, and he was like the first black naval diver, or like it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but it's like the stuff he had to go through with prejudice, and just trying to be in the military to try to be a diver, because kind of the same concept of what we're talking about quarterbacks. It's like, no, that was elite, you know what I mean? If you're a black guy in the Navy, you go fucking cook. You can't do that. You can't do this because you're black. You can't do this. And this guy just going through all these like trials, and then like, I don't want to ruin parts of the movie, but some big shit happened to him, and he just still fought back, and just, it's crazy and it's awesome. So I get inspired by stories like that, which I know there's a lot out there. But yeah, if you have time, Men of Honor, it's an old movie. But yeah, it's based off this guy's true life and struggles, and it's pretty fascinating. And it just kind of gives you a outlook of, yeah, again, like what this guy had to go through with all that shit and how he overcame it. It's good. So that'd be my plug for this week for Black History Month.
Awesome. Good plug though, man, for sure. Yeah, listeners, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's powerful. So yeah, with that, has been another episode of Two Nerds with Mics. Tune in for future episodes, of course. F1 season's right around the corner. Football season's over, so I don't even know what I'm going to talk about now because I don't have football now. But no, we're always going to have great topics. And again, if there's anything you would like for us to talk about, comment below. We'd love to see. But until then, keep nerding out. Stay positive.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, you all enjoy your day. Peace.
Later.